Hello, hello. As always, good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are. If you're a dev, doesn't really matter anyway. As always, if you're building things on Antelope and you're not in the Antelope developers chat, you're missing out, so join us at t.me/Antelope devs. We have mostly good conversations. We do have a developer roundtable that happens every 2 weeks, which always has excellent conversations. Without further ado, let's get on with the developer news. So Leap 5.0.2 was released. This version has a patch for long-standing but recently discovered bug related to deserialization of blocks for nodes. This was primarily surrounding return values, so if you haven't been using them, probably didn't impact you, but it has been impacting the nodes. It is good to see it fixed. The system contracts, also including updates to WRAM, were released as 3.3.0 and have been deployed to the mainnet. This includes new actions like RAM transfer, burn, buy RAM self, and the logging actions. We talked about this last time. They were deployed to the Jungle testnet. Shout out to Denise from EOS Nation, who did a majority of the work there. Excellent work. If you want to test the new actions on the mainnet, you can use the RAM Utils app at ramutils, ramutils.netlify.app. This also came alongside some or I guess tangentially, the WRAM contract was deployed to Jungle. This wraps RAM, so the native asset of RAM, so that you can add it to decentralized and centralized exchanges easily, because exchanges don't really support the native RAM asset. This is true of all ecosystems. You have wrapped ETH, wrapped Bitcoin, et cetera, and this allows decentralized and centralized exchanges to support the type of tokens that they normally couldn't support just because they're lacking functionality or they have a different format, different standard. So we're now moving towards that with the RAM native asset with this wrapped RAM token contract. The one special thing about this WRAM contract is that it also reflects the true RAM market with the amount of tokens minted. So the total amount of RAM that is available is also the total amount of issued WRAM within the contract. And even if someday the spigot gets turned back on or turned off or reduced, supply gets reduced of RAM, it'll automatically correct itself every time somebody interacts with the contract. So again, excellent work that's being done by Denis from EOS Nation. For the EVM, we have a new token added to the bridge. This is the Pink token. I do understand that there's going to be an extra token related to Pink that's coming in the future, but we'll talk about that next time. For tooling, the team over at Boyd has been working on a cross-chain Antelope bridge that now supports atomic assets bridging between EOS, Wax, and Telos. This means that you can now bridge your Wax NFTs over to EOS easily, as well as vice versa. You can do any kind of combination between those networks. As far as I know, this is the first instance of someone using Antelope IBC to do cross-chain NFT bridging, so definitely awesome to see. If you want to mess around with it, you can visit it at antelopex.io. That's ANTELOPEX.io. There's also support on the interface for regular token transfers as well, but that's not necessarily something new. It does have some cool stuff like status and retry support though. So very, very nice to see that. There is also BRAM from DeFi Box, which now supports transfer using the new RAM transfer functionality. BRAM is kind of like WRAM, though it has a little bit of a different implementation. There are no more fees associated with transferring RAM to DeFi Box to get RAM. It was a little unclear from what I read, but I also assume this means there's no fees for unwrapping the RAM back into native RAM, but I guess I need some clarification on that. Droplets from Greymass also has some updates that are in the works using RAM for the new transfer action as well. I don't think it's currently supported, might have changed between the time that I got this info and now, so it's possible. This will allow you to stop incurring the 0.5% fee in each direction when entering and exiting droplets, which would be very nice because a lot of people are holding a lot of droplets. And there's also apparently a new off-chain indexer which is coming out, and we'll revisit that stuff when I have more information available as well. For now, I think they're highly focused on the Shipload project, which looks pretty awesome. And that will also take advantage of droplets as a distribution mechanism, if not possibly more integrated into the game. It is really cool to see a company dogfooding their own creation, so I'm all for it. There is Save Act. So Save Act is an application for storing files using Antelope blockchains, and they released a new documentation aimed directly at developers. It digs into how you can upload and download files, what the naming schemas are, various type of browser requests. It's a little bit similar to some of the other, I guess I wouldn't say it's very similar, but it's a little similar. The concept is similar to, let's say, IPFS and other kind of technologies, Arweave and whatnot. But they do go about it in a very different way, in a somewhat related effort. I did an experiment recently with a newish read-only actions where you could visit a URL and pull data directly from any contract. The data would be MIME typed and supports HTML or any other type of file, meaning you can access them directly from a browser without an extension or resolver. The great thing about read-only actions is that you don't incur any kind of cost when calling them. So it's very similar to view functions in Solidity. You don't pay for them as the consumer of them. You only pay one time to insert the data into the blockchain. Sadly, the code was written about a week before WRFKit released support for sending read-only actions, so it is using the old ESJS. Denny, again, actually added support for WRFKit post that, but we never linked it all up. That repository is now open source, so anybody can raise that up as they see fit, and you can also just see the code to see how it works. But the basic gist of it is that you can hit a URL. It kind of works like a backend CRUD API with only gets, and you can just get a contract action from any contract plus action on the EOS blockchain without having to mess around with WRFKit or ESJS or any of that kind of stuff. It's purely just post parameters and whatnot. So definitely worth checking out. At EOS Network /vert was released into NPM. This is version 1.0.0 of the vert virtual machine emulator for Antelope blockchains. We kind of pulled this into our own repository, cleaned it up a bit, modernized some of the packaging, cleaned out all of the dependencies and all that weren't being used, made sure that they were safe and secure, and then reposted that up onto NPM. This also included some additions to our documentation, docs.eosnetwork.com, which had some minor changes for structure, but also primarily started talking about the fuck yeah framework, as well as the ability to use verts within CDT. Currently, the latest release of CDT doesn't yet support this. It's already, the ability to support this is merged into the main branch, but it hasn't been put into a release because there's some Leap 6.0 stuff there that would break. So that is coming. However, there is in the documentation a wonderful code snippet, or I guess I should say command line snippet from Matt Witherspoon, which allows you to export memory from any CDT version, or I should say a contract built with any CDT version, which will allow you to use vert on all of your contracts. That's all the news that we have today, though. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you soon.